Welcome back to Harmon Homestead. We are in the kitchen today, and you can actually see me because I've got a phone stand now. So I was just propping it up against the wall and whatever I could do just to video myself, and I actually got a light too, so you can see me. So welcome back. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Gonna kind of take turns today and do a different video. We're gonna can today, okay? So this is money saving. It's also food preservation, okay? If you have never canned, read it. Read all the information you can. Read on it, study it before you start this. Now, hence, as you can see behind me here, I have a glass stovetop. They say not to use a regular canner on it, but some people have had luck, some haven't. Regardless, that led me to go get an electric canner. I have the Presto Precise digital pressure canner. I loved it. I love it. I've used it for 2 years now, and it's great. So, for money saving, let me show you what I got. I got potatoes today on sale for $2.67 for a 5-pound sack, which is great. The problem is I can't eat all of these before they will spoil, okay? Neither can my husband. But what we can do is put these up. Now, 2 things I don't like to freeze. Everything else, I feel like it ought to just go in the freezer, okay? Potatoes and tomatoes really need to be canned, okay? You can freeze these, but I just like the canned taste better and the way it holds up. So, what we're going to do is we're going to dice these up, okay, to use for later on. Just say we want to make shepherd's pie and we need diced tomatoes. Say we want to make soup, potato soup. We mash the diced potatoes up. You can do so many things with diced potatoes, and it'll save money down the road, okay, because it won't be as wasteful. You'll be preserving in your own kitchen, okay? Now, I bought 4 bags, okay? So that's a lot of potatoes, guys, but we'll be canning, okay? Now, some essentials if you've never canned before. I've cleaned my canner. You can see it behind me here. That's part of it. You need a canning book, a canning guide. I have mine right here. It's worn to a thread because I've used it so much, but it's the Ball Blue Book of preserving, okay? This will tell you what to do, okay? For anything that you might want to try. Second of all, when you buy your canner, if you get an electric one, it will come with a quick start guide. One side is pressure canning, one side is boiling water. Boiling water would be like tomatoes, other things, pressure canning. So there's a difference here on how you run this canner, but y'all, it is foolproof, okay? So get this book and read it, and that's what we're going to do step by step today, is the potato recipe. I had it turn right to it. But anyways, we're going to follow this step by step. So then you need mason jars, canning jars. 2 years ago, I wanted to get into canning, and I went out and bought, I think, like 12 cases, 13 cases of quart jars for $8 in January, and at a local Walmart. And now, today I was in Walmart, and I looked, and they were $13.57 or $13.97 per case. And those were for pints. So, y'all, the price has went up. But these jars will last forever. So, I put my jars in the dishwasher when I empty them out. The rings, they can go in the dishwasher. The lids, you throw away if you're using plain lids. Now, there's a difference. You can have wide mouth and you can have regular mouth. I like the wide mouth because you can fit more into it and it's easier to wash and clean, okay, when you're trying to scrub on the inside of that jar. You need the canning jars. The rings, don't go out and get bukus of rings because you reuse those over and over. And you probably only need like 4 to 12 at a time and just reuse them the next run. So you do not need a bunch of rings. A lot of people, when they buy cases of mason jars, canning jars, they'll have rings stacked up everywhere, okay? So don't worry about that, but you do need your lids. The only thing you have to buy every year are your lids, okay? If you can get those at a good price. Now, you can buy canning kits. That's what I've bought, but I'm going to, as far as tools to use, but I'm going to show you what I use, okay? The very first thing, and I just bought this somewhere, is a ladle. Like a a huge ladle, and I love the side here. See that? That way it'll pour. And I just washed it. You need some kind of funnel. That come in my canning kit. That works great. This right here, and y'all gonna laugh at me. When I opened the canning kit up, my husband had went to work. This was my first time canning. I was scared to death. I don't know why everybody has such a fear of canning, and it is dangerous, especially if you like the old-timey stainless steel pressure canning. But I mean, I was petrified. And so I reached down like this and try to get my jars out of this electric canner. Once they had done, everything was fine. And I about dropped them. I said, what is wrong? No wonder this is so dangerous. Well, it's because I was holding it the wrong way, guys. Those are your handle grips right there. See the hook? That goes around the mouth of the jar. Lift it up careful and take it to where it's supposed to be. Like, y'all. I don't know what I was thinking. Last but not least, this right here is a debubbler. That's what I call it. It's to get bubbles out, and that's very important if you want your jars to seal, okay? So you put that all around your jar. I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? And that'll get the bubbles out. Now, they say, well, leave a 1/4 inch headspace, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch. The easiest way to tell is my husband took a ruler, y'all, and measured this out. And I don't know if you can see, maybe if the light will hit it right. He just kind of scraped into this with a knife and measured 1/4, 1/2, and a whole inch right there on the debubbler. That way I know exactly where to pour my water to. Okay, we'll get into that. Last but not least, y'all gonna laugh, dish towels. You're gonna need a lot of these. This is it's a messy process, okay? It's just, you're gonna have your hands in hot water. It's going to be stinging your fingertips. You're going to have jars pouring hot water on the outside of them when you take them out of the canner that's still boiling on the inside. You need a lot of hand towels. I put these down all over my counter when I start to can. That way I won't have a huge mess afterwards. Got my mason jars. Got my canner ready. My lids. My rings washed. My book here. All my supplies. Last but not least, get yourself ready because we're going to start canning, okay? Diced potatoes, here we go. So we've washed an entire 5-pound sack of potatoes here, and I've got my potato peeler. I'm starting to peel my potatoes, and then we're going to dice these up in pretty big chunks because the smaller the chunk is, the more it'll disintegrate during pressure canning. And then I'm going to take all of my scraps outside to the animals. Okay, so we're just going to peel our potatoes. If you see a bad spot, like a dark spot, really get that out of there, okay? Before you dice these up and can it. You don't want any blemishes like that right there. You want to just get rid of that best you can. And give yourself a good margin where everything is all clear. Because you don't want something that may spoil inside of your canning jar. So we've got all of our potatoes diced, and I have a huge stock pot here. You really want that if you're going to can. All of them are in this water, okay? So what we're going to do is pretty much boil this for a few minutes, okay? And then put these in our jars. Now, second step. We're going to have some fresh water here, okay? Boiling on another eye. So you've got your potatoes. Look at the ball book. Do what it tells you on how long, okay? And then you've got your fresh water to put on top of these potatoes. You don't want to put this water in there, okay? Because they're super starchy. This is all 5 pounds, okay? I don't know if all of this will fit, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to turn this on to high, and then I'm going to turn that on. This won't take long to boil, so maybe medium high, okay? So now we're going to go to our canner immediately because we need to be preheating our jars. Step number 1, plug your canner in, okay? You will get a flashing light. You can do 2 options, pressure can or boiling water can. We want to pressure can, okay? And then press enter. We're going to pressure can these quarts for 40 minutes according to ball, okay? So I'm going to see how I turn that knob, and then I'm going to hit enter. And then it says insert jars. So, first things first, y'all. 3 quarts full of water in the bottom of your canner here. That is water to heat this up. So put 3 quarts of water in there. Now, I've got my jars and they're supposed to be halfway full with water, okay? I'm just going to set these in here. Y'all, this is so easy. If I can do it, you can do it. Now we're going to put our lid on. Now, let me show you this lid. There's something that goes right here. That's your weighted gauge, okay? This is weighted. Do not put that on until this machine tells you to, okay? So let's literally put him on. There we go, okay? At all times, there's a green knob over here. I like to keep it in the locked position just for safety purposes. And then I'm going to press enter. Okay, that's it. And it says warm. This will flash when it's done warming. Okay, so at that point, get my camera up here, y'all. At that point, you'll take your jars out. Okay, dump that water out in the sink and then fill it up with your potatoes. You will not add more than the 3 quarts of water in here for pressure canning. For boiling water canning, at that point, once you get your jars filled, all that, then you'll put all your hot water on top of it. The pressure canning is the easiest. It's so much easier to me than boiling water canning. I know my fingers think so because they've been burned otherwise. So on the stove, I've got my potatoes going. Got my water getting ready to boil. That's just for going in the jars with the potatoes. Again, I'm using this right here. Do not lose this, okay? If you buy one, this is your this is what you need, okay? And it tells you everything, okay? Again, you're gonna have a weighted gauge. Let me show that to you. We are not going to put this on until it tells us to, and it'll give us a countdown. It'll even let you. You'll know how much time you have to go off and do something else before you come back. It'll make an alarm and you put that on, okay? And that's when you start canning, all right? So, let's wait for our potatoes and go from there. So our canner just beeped and it says fill jars. So that means I'm going to undo the top, take my mason jars out. This is going to be very hot, guys. And we're actually going to dump out the water in the sink that's in the jars. Leave the water in the canner that's already there, the 3 quarts that you put in. Then we're going to take our jars over to the stove and fill them up with the potatoes. Here are the preheated jars. I have 4 quarts, okay, right here. Got my pot of potatoes, and then right beside it on the stove, I've got my boiling water. So at this point, I'm going to use a spoon, a slotted spoon, for drainage with these potatoes because I don't want this water in my jars. I want fresh water. So we're going to take these and be very careful because they're going to be mushy, okay? Put it down in the jar. Just like that, okay? Down in the jar. Kind of shake it around. You do not want these to be overfilled. Just shake it a little bit, okay? And that should get your potato slices on down in there. You don't want to tap this on the counter and beat these down in there. There's no point in that, okay? So like right there, he looks good. Just like it is, because we're going to put water on top of this. So let's start with the next one. Again, you want the good, clean, fresh water on top of these. See the chunks, how they're wanting to disintegrate, y'all? That's why you cut these in kind of big chunks. That way they'll hold up to the canning, because the canning is going to make them disintegrate even more. Now, like him, I can wiggle a little bit more and get 1 or 2 small pieces. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, y'all. So at this point, we're going to add salt. And there's a huge debate, okay? You have two types of salt. And I don't mean the brands here. You have iodized, okay? And then you have uniodized. This salt does not supply iodine. I'm going to go with this one, the uniodized salt. And you can get the canning salt, all of that, to put in here. Because it just helps flavor and preserve. But the iodized salt may cause rust. So, I believe it said a teaspoon. I've got half a teaspoon here. Really to your taste. And then I'm going to go again. I didn't charge my light long enough. I was so excited to start videoing with it, so it just went out. But we're going to make do. Okay. Now's when I'm going to take my ladle. At this point, it would be good to use your funnel here. Okay? And these, y'all, are hot. So, we're just going to take some water. Just put your funnel over it. You don't have to have a funnel, but it does help. Just to prevent mess. Okay. And you'll have to go back and add water on all of these. Leave more than what your headspace says by a little bit because you're going to debubble it and adjust it and then top him off with that fresh water. So I'm going to set my ladle right there because I'm going to need it again. Okay, so now we're going to debubble. So take this long stick you have, and remember, we have it marked 1 inch right there, okay? 1 inch. And that's what I want. So you're going to take this and go all the way around your jars. Should be pretty loose with these potatoes, okay? Just go, see the bubbles coming up? You want it flush up against the edge of this jar and wiggle it a little bit. That's getting the air out. And you'll notice that your water will shrink in the jars the more that you do this. That's why I don't top mine off to the exact mark when I'm first filling them up, because I'm going to have to go back and add water anyways. So it's really just a preference. Now, I'm going to put this down in here where it says 1 inch. And that is almost exact on this one. So 1 inch. Perfect. See how I'm holding that? And I'm adding to the very tip of my debubbler. 1 inch. 1 inch. Okay, that's done. Now, you want to take either a clean rag or a paper towel and go around the edges of these to clean these off, because this is hot, y'all. Do you see all that? You need to clean that so you'll have a good seal. Especially like jam, anything sticky. Your lid may not stick to this. Okay. Take it. And what I do is I take my index finger and my middle finger and I kind of grab each side like that. All the way around. And y'all, this is hot. That way you're getting the inside and the outside. You want these clean. Furthermore, when you get done canning and your cans have processed, wipe your jars down so they won't set up mold or bacteria on the outside, wherever you put these. Not the inside. They're sealed, they're good, but the outside. And this is what I talk about getting your hands warm. Okay, so I have already dried off my rings and my lids after I washed them, okay? I already have them dry. Put it down in the center. And then put your ring on it. Loosely, okay? About one good turn like that. You want to be able to unscrew that extremely easy. to me, if you get it on track the first time, it's like it works like a charm. And those usually always seem to seal. Okay, one more. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to put these in the canner. We've got our jars in the canner. Now we're going to put our lid on. Turn it. Lock it. Okay. Weighted gauge is still off. Now, I'm going to hit the center button here. Heat. You'll get a timer. When that timer beeps, it'll tell you to add this. Add it, and then your cans will process for the amount of time. Now I have 9 minutes to put my weight here, okay, on top of the canner. Machine just flashed and it's saying can put regulator on. Your regulator is that. We're going to go up here. Be careful, this is hot. Just like that. You can hear a change in the steam release and hit enter. There you go. The countdown's on. 40 minutes, guys. All right, so our potatoes are done. It says done over here, and we're gonna unlock the lid. This is extremely hot, y'all. This is extremely hot. Beautiful. Okay, so open up your lid. Now, we have the jar grabbers, okay? Hold this top. All right. So we're just gonna go like that. Make sure you've got it secure. Look at that. Beautiful. So we had 4 beautiful quart jars of diced potatoes that just came out of the canner. And I did a little math here to see how much money we saved. At a big box store, the price online for a pint, which is 2 pints and a quart, a pint of diced potatoes is 88 cents per pint. So that would be $1.76 a quart. They might give you more of a bulk buy. For ours, it was 67 cents per quart. So $1.76 versus 67 cents. That seems like nothing. $1.10, $1.09. but it saves over time. And you learn how to preserve your food, opens up freezer space for you, and it's just great overall. So pennies on the dollar, but it helps later on with becoming sustainable and saving money. We'll see you next time on Harmon Homestead.